You could feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances, while the township supervisor...
A legal appointment. That's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next steps.
Is Tiffany Henyard, the self-proclaimed super mayor of Dolton, Illinois, finally getting what many say she deserves? Rumors are swirling that she's been arrested and is currently being grilled by federal agents. That's right after years of controversy, corruption, and a laundry list of scandals. It looks like Henyard's reign might be coming to an end. But how did it all go so wrong for the woman who once promised to bring change to her community? And why are so many of her former allies now turning against her?
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
Let's dive into the shocking details of this unfolding drama. Henyard's journey to becoming the mayor of Dolton is anything but ordinary. She came into office with grand promises of reform and a fresh start for the village. But as it turns out, those promises were nothing more than smoke and mirrors. Instead of the change Dolton desperately needed, Henyard brought chaos, corruption, and a heavy-handed approach that quickly earned her the nickname Dolton Dictator. From the very beginning, Henyard's leadership style was marked by controversy. Elected in 2021, she wasted no time in making her presence known, both in Dolton and beyond. She wasn't just content with being mayor, she also took on the role of supervisor for Thornton Township, which brought her a hefty combined salary of nearly $300,000, a sum that left many residents of the working-class town scratching their heads carved. It wasn't long before accusations of unethical behavior started piling up, and the town's finances became a hot mess. But Henyard's downfall didn't happen overnight. It was a slow burn, fueled by her increasingly erratic behavior and a growing list of enemies.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
The situation escalated dramatically when allegations of financial mismanagement began to surface. Reports started circulating about Henyard's lavish spending on the taxpayer's dime. We're not talking about a few fancy dinners here and there. Try tens of thousands of dollars on first-class flights, luxury hotels, and high-end restaurants. The numbers were staggering, with credit card statements revealing a 5-month spree that racked up over $100,000 in expenses. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Henyard's spending habits weren't just excessive, they were downright egregious. For instance, she and her entourage reportedly dropped over $9,000 at the Four Seasons Hotel in Atlanta and splurged on more than $13,000 at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square. The town's money was being burned through faster than anyone could keep track of, and it quickly became clear that Henyard was living large at the community's expense. But when residents and trustees started asking questions, they were met with silence or worse, retaliation.
Is there a motion to terminate Keith Freeman?
Her former allies are now speaking out, and what they're saying isn't pretty. Take Thornton Township trustee Carmen Carlisle, for example. Carlisle was once one of Henyard's closest confidantes, working as her assistant before being appointed a trustee in 2023. But now, Carlisle has had enough. She's come forward with a scathing public statement accusing Henyard of unethical and predatory behavior designed to increase her influence at the insurance gap. According to Carlisle, Henyard has been manipulating employees, vendors, and residents for years, all while projecting a false image of success.
Sometimes we get invoices, but those invoices lead to more questions, and sometimes we don't get questions, answers to those questions. And so it's not about clickbait, it's about just making sure the right thing.
Carlisle's revelations have only added fuel to the fire. During a special board meeting, she admitted that she had initially trusted Henyard and didn't question the extravagant spending until she couldn't ignore the red flags any longer. Carlisle and other trustees have since voted to impose new restrictions on spending, but the damage has already been done. The township's finances are in shambles, and the village is drowning in debt with a deficit of over $65 million. It's a far cry from the surplus of $61 million that existed just 2 years ago.
When the administration can adhere to some financial limits, we're not looking to necessarily...
The fallout from these revelations has been swift and brutal. Henyard has responded to Carlisle's accusations with venom, dubbing her former ally Lying Carlisle in front of a packed audience. But the nickname hasn't done much to deflect attention from the growing scandal. The FBI has reportedly taken notice, launching an investigation into Henyard's financial dealings. Federal subpoenas have already been served, and rumors are swirling that the feds have a long list of witnesses ready to testify against her.
Fox 32 has investigated Henyard's use of a police security detail, taking officers off the street and costing thousands of dollars.
It's not just Carlisle who has turned against Henyard. Many of her other former allies are also jumping ship. One of the most significant blows came when Dolton's deputy police chief, Louis Lacey, was indicted on bankruptcy fraud charges. Lacey was a staunch supporter of Henyard and was even involved in some of the most controversial decisions of her administration. But now, with federal charges looming over him, Lacey's loyalty to Henyard has come into question. Some insiders believe that Lacey might be cooperating with investigators to save his own skin, a move that could spell disaster for Henyard.
One way that the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing here.
But how did Henyard's once loyal allies become her greatest adversaries? The answer lies in her increasingly dictatorial approach to leadership. Over the years, Henyard has been accused of using her power to intimidate and retaliate against anyone who dared to oppose her. There are even reports that she weaponized the police department, using officers to target her critics and enforce her will. Former trustee Valeria Stubbs claims that Henyard orchestrated a shooting at her home in retaliation for speaking out against the mayor, a chilling allegation that has sent shockwaves through the community. Henyard's enemies aren't just limited to trustees and law enforcement officials. Even members of her own administration have started to turn on her. Earlier this year, Keith Freeman, Henyard's top aide and the village administrator, was charged with bankruptcy fraud. Freeman, who had been one of Henyard's most trusted allies, is now reportedly cooperating with investigators, a move that could bring even more damning evidence to light.
I think you should pay everybody. Is it the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for. You just got it.
With so many of her former supporters turning against her, it's no wonder that Henyard is in deep trouble. But the real question is, how did she manage to stay in power for so long? The answer lies in her ability to manipulate the system and silence her critics. Henyard was a master at using her position to enrich herself and her allies while keeping the community in the dark about her true intentions. She even managed to get her hands on a golden microphone, an extravagant symbol of her power that she used to address meetings and events. But as the investigation heats up, it's becoming clear that Henyard's days as Dolton's dictator are numbered. The FBI is reportedly closing in on her, and insiders say that an arrest could be imminent. Rumors are swirling that Henyard is currently being questioned by federal agents, and there's speculation that she could be facing serious charges in the near future.
We needed those officers to be on the street fighting crime, and instead we have several officers that are riding around protecting the mayor.
So, what's next for Tiffany Henyard? If the rumors are true, she could soon find herself behind bars, facing a laundry list of charges ranging from corruption to financial mismanagement. But even if she manages to avoid jail time, her political career is likely over. The community has had enough of her antics, and there's little chance that she'll be able to rebuild her reputation after this scandal. As the drama continues to unfold, one thing is certain: Dolton's residents deserve better. They deserve a leader who will put their needs first, not someone who will exploit their trust for personal gain. The fallout from Henyard's reign will be felt for years to come, and it will take a long time to undo the damage she's done.
I'm sure you guys had an awesome time on the backs of taxpayers, but what do we gain from any of these trips? We gain nothing.
But for now, the focus is on the investigation and what it could mean for Henyard's future. Will she be held accountable for her actions? Or will she find a way to wriggle out of trouble once again? The clock is ticking, and the answers could come sooner than anyone expects. In the meantime, the residents of Dolton are left to pick up the pieces. They've been through a lot in the past few years, and the Henyard scandal is just the latest blow. But despite the challenges, there's a sense of hope in the community, a belief that justice will eventually be served and that Dolton can move forward.
The township residents are paying for her fund.
As the investigation into Henyard continues, there are plenty of questions that need to be answered. What role did her former allies play in her rise to power? And why did they stay silent for so long? How deep does the corruption go? And who else might be implicated? And most importantly, will the people of Dolton finally get the justice they deserve? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure: the story of Tiffany Henyard is far from over. The twists and turns of this saga are sure to keep us all on the edge of our seats, and the final chapter has yet to be written. So, stay tuned as this drama unfolds, because it's going to be one wild ride. And remember, when it comes to Tiffany Henyard, expect the unexpected. Fan reactions to the unfolding scandal around Tiffany Henyard are flooding in, and they reveal a community that feels betrayed and outraged. Many residents are vocal about their disbelief and frustration, especially given the extent of the alleged corruption and financial mismanagement. One comment summed up the prevailing sentiment quite well: this is all money that the taxpayers will never see again. She is shameless. Another fan echoed this frustration, but also highlighted what they see as Henyard's brazen attitude toward her own misconduct. She's so arrogant that she thinks people are too stupid to hold her accountable, the comment reads. This points to a deeper issue of perceived arrogance and a sense of untouchability that Henyard seems to project, according to her critics. It suggests that many feel she not only took advantage of her position, but also did so with a smug sense of impunity, believing that she could get away with anything without facing consequences. So, what do you think? Is Tiffany Henyard finally facing the consequences of her actions? Or is this just the beginning of another chapter in her controversial career? Could there be more to this story that we don't know yet? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay tuned and keep questioning.